Hey, it's me again. I know I've been MIA with my recap videos, but you're about to get a monthly, um, well, my July month recap video. Basically, going to be going over my best trade, my worst trade. We're just gonna go through a whole review together. This video is well overdue. I kind of been taking a break a little bit on trading, just a little break. I pretty much have been taking this whole week off and just been enjoying life. And pretty much I've kind of been doing that for the whole month. I've just been enjoying life. I have been going out, baby, traveled a little in between from, you know, just been living life, okay? So I want to say I'll have my Trayzilla stats posted somewhere on here. I ended up clearing like over 100K for the month. And it was pretty. I didn't trade every single day either in the month of July. I had a I was coming off the high of June because I did close out a swing trade that I was holding throughout the whole month of May into June, and I closed it out. And so like I was just like hitting it every time in the month of June. And then the month of July came in. That's when the market started to get a little shaky. It was getting a little bit more volatile, and I started to see, even though like overall like I understand my setups, my risk and everything, but I got to the point to where I started letting some bad habits creep in. We're gonna go over them from the trades I'm gonna be reviewing with you. Hello, can I talk? And then yeah, we're gonna clock it. Okay, I'm gonna clock myself, and then also I want you to take what I'm saying, see what I'm actually doing and what things I need to work on, and see if those are things that you need to work on too. And also to be like, dang, Shar, you can call me out. Be like, what was you thinking? I wasn't. Just gonna say that now. So we can go ahead and get into the charts. So I'm going to be looking to the left and to the right a lot because I have my Trayzilla on one screen and then my charts on another screen. So bear with me. I don't need y'all saying, oh, she looking kind of weird. Because I'm going to start talking about your mama and daddy. Okay. So the first trade that I took was on the 1st of July, which we are here already. I had taken 3 trades. I won 2 of my trades and lost 1. So the first one we're going to go over is RTY was my very first trade that I took. So RTY, I traded a long within the first minute of the market being open. So market open is right here for me. So when I started to see this, ideally, crazy enough, a lot of times when I am looking for open drive plays, I like to see like a candle spike, but I knew I had a lot on my plate, as in I was looking at RTY and I was looking at SPY. Now it has been times to where I have taken multiple trades on as an open drive a lot, but I told myself I need to chill. I need to chill. So with that being said, I started to notice coming into the market how from overnight, to scrunch this up. When we are looking at this, it was a Wednesday. So coming into the day before, I started to notice, okay, we failed to put in a new high to come from this area. We didn't put a new high here to pass this up. Got in a low, lower high, and we have a low. And then as we started, this is early as crap in the morning. We're consolidating here. This is how I look at the chart before I'm even seeing anything. So I've noticed we consolidated, we came down, but then did we put a new low from this area here? No. So that also lets me know. And mind you, a lot of times I'm looking at this on the 4 and the 15 minute, but the way how TOS is set up, I don't like doing all that. So you can still see it here. So that ideally, I need you to be able to break down price action on the lower time frame regardless. So see how we have a low here, but we never came in to put a new low. So that's letting me know that we have potential to make a high. Okay. Then I'm looking at it again. Okay, this is still pre-market to where we got up to this area, but then we failed again. But even though, yes, we put in a low from this area, we still never came down here to this low. Then we started to do the same thing and we failed. But when we opened, we pushed. And I was like, okay, I like that, but I didn't like the way how we closed. So mind you, there's at least 2 candles of this in the 2-minute. After we pushed up that high and we came back down, this is letting me know, okay, I told myself we're going to wait because it was actually a crazy, like the first 2 minutes was good. And then like we just pushed down. And then I'm looking at this like, okay, where is the wick and where is the body? So the wick came here to this same area from this side, and like in these bodies of the candles over here, but we closed up here. So that's still letting me know we didn't put in a new low from this area, and we never came out and take this out as a low. So as like I said, we pushed up from here and then we came back down. That wick is telling me something, but the body is really telling me something. That's what you need, the body, yada 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 yada. Sorry. And we started to push up again. So that's telling me, I love to play me a bouncy on it. Okay. I had already got into the trade over here, but from looking at it, I did. I got into the trade at yeah, I got in the trade as soon as we started to push up here. So my entry was from us breaking this candle high, and my stop. Well, let me make that green. Let me make it green for you. Green here, and then my stop. I had a soft stop here to where I kind of like, depending on how much money I put into the market, but this day I put in a lot of money. So I had like an ideal to where I didn't want this candle to flip back below, because this candle printed out to the downside first and then we started to push up. So as we was pushing up, that's when I got in, when we broke this high. So ideally I didn't want to see the candle come back below here, and ideally didn't want to see the candle come back below the body. But my hard stop was definitely at this candle low. So there's sometimes to where like I will be in a trade, say if I'm in 8 minis on a trade, I will scale out if it gets to my like an area of a stop that I kind of want to be out at, and then I have a hard stop. So technically, like, I'm not losing as much money, but I'm still losing money. Girl math it, okay? Follow me. So, but this candle, it never came back. So I was never really in drawdown on this. I think when I got into this trade, it was around, I think the most I seen I was down was like $1,200. But it kind of like, when it did break, it pulled back a little bit and then it kept on going. And then I didn't get out of the trade until this candle here. I started to see the weakness. So of course I like to scale out when the candle is doing the strength in the candle. And this was just strictly me playing bar by bar. And so when I'm looking at this on a 2-minute, I got out soon as we started to break below this candle in here. So my entry was here, soft stop, hard stop. I got out here. I like to trail my positions. Mainly I'm looking at it on the 2-minute, but when I look at the charts on the 5 and 15 also. Just remember that. So there's that trade. And then now we can go to ES, aka SPY. So I got into the trade at 8:34. So around the same time I took the other trade. So I lost. I was looking for a continuation, but I was late to this trade. I was freaking late. Ideally, me looking at this right now, I knew for a fact I should have gotten in here, and probably my stop was going to be up here. But I hesitated. This is when I started to notice on the first day of July is when I should have noticed I was hesitating. Because ideally, I probably would have got into this trade at the break of this candle low from open. But I didn't. Which is cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's not cool. So with that being said, I was looking for a continuation on this trade. And I know for a fact that when I was looking for the continuation, I got caught up trying to play the low of this, and I was at the bottom. So by the time this started to flip, I was like, oh dang, I need to get out. And I was in 4 contracts. I was in 4 contracts. So I know for sure I got stopped out in this area. It was going my way. And then it says psych. But one thing I can tell you at 8:41, so in this candle, I got into the trade. I reset it myself. And that's the biggest thing I always try to tell you guys. You have to know how to pivot quick as hell in the market. The quicker you know how to understand that you can take a loss and reset yourself and get right back into the markets because you know you see another potential setup. Reset, 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 reset. So I got into this candle here. I got into the break of this candle right here from breaking that, and my stop was down here. I was in drawdown a little bit, and then I started to just ride the trend. Ideally, I normally would take profits around the around the higher day, the current higher day. So let me understand. Let me get you to understand. When I mean the higher day, I'm talking about the current higher day. I do not give a rat's ass what happens like overnight when y'all be saying, oh, like the Asian in London. I don't give a about those sessions, to be honest with you. I don't. My biggest thing I trade is the New York session. That is the main session that matters. Okay. So the current higher day of this chart that I'm looking at is right got here. Okay. So normally I would take profits at the current higher day. And I would just kind of, I wouldn't call it necessarily, but if it gives me any reason to get out of the trade. So I was looking at this to trail at this point. Like I'm good, honestly, from getting from here to playing here. I'm good, but there's no reason to get out of the trade when the market is giving you no reason to get out the trade. So what did I do? I'm trailing it bar by bar. So when I'm looking at this message, when I'm looking at this, I'm seeing how my entry is here from the break of this candle. Did we put in a low? No. The next candle printed. Did we put in a new low? No. Next candle printed. Did we put in a new low? No. Same thing. No, no, no. Then we start to get a little funny because I'm like, damn, that's a small ass candle, you know? And I'm like, okay, at this point, this is where you would probably see me get on the 2-minute and start to really look more. But I was still looking at this on a 5 and 15 minute. So with that being said, I'm still trailing it bar by bar, and I got out here because as soon as we start to break below, it's like I don't want to see. The crazy part is I could have caught this leg, but you have to be okay with knowing how to take profits and knowing when to walk away and get the hell out the market. So with that being said, with that trade, I made so the RTY trade, I made $6,000 off of. The first trade that I took on ES, the loss that I took was I lost $1,485. And then the third trade, well, technically the second trade I took on SPY, but my third trade, I ended up winning that trade for $13,595. Period. So that was the first day of July. Then we can go over cause I took 3 trades, and then we can go over the trades where I feel like I went on tilt, and that was on Thursday, the 9th of July. I took 6 trades. and I took a hit on ES and I took a hit on NQ. Why did I trade after that when I already made the money? What the fuck is wrong with me sometimes? And one thing I want you to understand, every trader, like, I still feel like from where I am as a trader, I still have my moments where I go on tilt, okay? I don't know if that's still a thing for, traders that's been trading longer than me. I'm not there yet. Um, but I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, but I have built in things with my Ninja Trader, and you can do it on Tradeovate. And if you trade props, you can put it in there to where you don't lose. Like, once you hit your daily loss limit, you can lock your account to where you cannot trade until the next session. Or if you hit your daily loss limit, or you can set it in there to where if you don't want to take no more than like 4 trades, by the time once you take your 4th trade, your account locks. You can do these things. Protect yourself. So the first trade, right off open, I got eaten up. I tried to do a short. I got eaten up off this candle. That's it. That's all. There was no reason for me to even lose this trade. There was no reason. Honestly, there was no reason. I was up, but I started to hold too much. And knowing me, I was in 8 contracts. So soon as I got in from the break of this low, I didn't get out of this candle. I'm so irritated now actually doing this. Y'all getting the rawness out of me with these charts. I am actually irritated. But it's okay because we still ended up closing the day off green. My biggest thing I want to tell you guys, so I have had a lot of people tell me like, oh, it looks like you barely lose. I take hella trades, but I try to keep my trades within no more than 4. But like I said, I be going on tilt. If I see something of my setting up, I'm going to take it. I don't have a problem with doing that, but I kind of been wanting to slow down my trading to where I can just take 1 trade for the day and it's a win or lose and I'm done. I'm trying to grow. And with me, honestly, with like this current week, the week of it's August 20th when I'm filming this, I haven't really been trading the past 2 weeks. I started another small account. And I'm sitting at $700 with that account, and I just haven't seen anything that I've liked to take. So there's that. Then at 8:34, I took another trade on ES. 8:34. So this has to be coming into this. So as like I said, I'm very quick to pivot and reset myself. Even though I lost this trade because I was looking for shorts, soon as I got out of that trade, because I was in this trade for the losing trade. Yeah, soon as I exited, got right back. Because ideally, the overall plan was for me to play the upside move of this, but I was in. This is where I have my problem. I was in a total of 12 contracts. I was in a total of 12, but because I seen this wick, that's why I felt comfortable to do it. Because soon as I lost this trade, because I started to see this happening, once we broke this candle, I was out immediately because I had to stop there. And so as soon as I got stopped there, I got into an entry. So with that being said, this candle printed and I liked that, okay? Because we started clearing this over here. I liked it. Then we came down, but what did we do? We closed up here. So my biggest thing I like to always tell y'all, look at the bodies of the candles. Look at the bodies. The body is going to help you tremendously. It's going to tell you what price actually want it to be at. Let's see. And then I took a trade on NQ. So yeah, it looks more clear. Okay, you have to understand NQ and SPY, they trade very similar, but SPY is the big dog. What's that one meme with Kevin Gates? He's like, SPY is big dog. So, but QQQ can have moments to where it can be weak and it's still kind of following SPY. And sometimes NQ could be strong and SPY can be weak. But that's when it comes to the whole divergence thing. Whole nother topic we can talk about later. So I noticed the same thing that Spy did. I didn't do it on cues. I feel like if I did it on cues, I would have had a way bigger loss. But on Q, I traded 6 contracts for this one. So I got in 30. Yeah. So I got in at the break of this candle. No, I didn't. Hold on. Scratch that. I got in at 8:40. I got in late. Too busy. This is when I was trying to see. This is where when I say I be doing shit, this is where I be doing shit. Because there's no reason why I should have gotten to this trade. Because I was in this trade for how long? 11 minutes? So I literally, I'm surprised I didn't stop myself out. Actually, now that I'm looking at this, y'all getting raw. This is raw right here. Because ideally, I should have got in at least at the break of this candle for a continuation to the upside, but I didn't. You know what my goofy ass did? I got in trying to play over here out of this candle. Yeah, when that candle printed. So I got in at the break of this candle, and my stop, I knew for a fact I had a stop right here. Now I'm not gonna hold you. A lot of times when I have my like a hard stop, I give myself extra room when it comes to my stop. So ideally, yes, I'm looking at us for us not to break this candle, but I give myself an extra like 10 to 15 ticks of a cushion for my size. My nose has been itching, y'all. Excuse me. For my size, I like, depending on your size, you have to understand how to fluctuate that. I like to give myself a little room, and that's exactly what happened. Because ideally, if I had a super hard stop, I would have got stopped out. And then I played it up to like this candle. Mind you, it's NQ6 contracts. You can make a lot of shit shake, okay, within a super small trade. So I got in here and I got out. Yeah, as this candle. Yeah, I got out as soon as this candle right here broke below this candle. I wasn't in trade for that long. I wasn't. July was not my best month, but I still came up on the month. And that's because of my risk management plan. I can tell you that. That's the only thing that saved my ass for the month of July. I want y'all to understand a lot of my trades, I trade breakouts, continuations, bounces, and rejections. That's all I do. That's all I do. That's what I do. Trying to see. So for the first week, which I will, like I said, I will insert my my screenshot of my TradeZilla for the month of July. The first week I had just traded that Wednesday. I didn't trade Thursday, Friday. I think I was traveling. I think that's what it was. Had to be going somewhere because I know I went somewhere. I know I went somewhere. Mind your business. I had 2,000. I caught 2,000 ticks the first week. Second week I caught 1,000 ticks. I didn't trade Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Friday that week. I caught 6,000 ticks on week 3. 2K and 2K. I wonder if does it show you like how many ticks you actually lost? There's some things about TradeZilla I just don't know. But it's okay. I'm still learning how to use it. I just know I like the stats that I like to use from it. It's pretty straight to the point. Then let's see. My trade win for the month of July was a 59%. I lost 18 trades, but I won 26 of them. Profit factors are 3.70. My day win is a 91, and then my average win loss trade is 2.56. So I was winning at least 5K on average, but I was losing around $2,000 on average. Let's see, what is my biggest loss for the month? Okay, so far I'm looking at 3,900, 48. We're going 48, 53. Okay, 5,300, 5,300. Let me get we're looking at 5,300. We're looking at 5,300. $53. So $5,329.12 was my biggest losing trade. And that was on YM. 28. I entered here. I entered for, oh baby, I was just on the wrong side of the market. Nothing told me that this shit was going up. I was on the wrong side of the market, baby. And I think I did talk about that on TikTok. Yeah, I was just on the wrong side of the market because clearly it was giving me all the signs that it was not going up. Just doing shit. That's exactly what that is. Just doing shit. And I held it. And I don't know why I held it because I held it from 828 to 846. 846 is around. Now, y'all probably think like, damn, Char, it's all over the place. This is how I gotta recap trades, okay? This is how I gotta talk to myself. I have to talk to myself. I still love myself, of course. Don't think I don't, because I do. But yeah, having to understand, you gotta be real with yourself when you are reviewing your trades, man. Because clearly July was not my best month, but I was still able to come up on top because of my risk management. I try to teach y'all that and try to put in y'all heads. So, with that being said, that concludes for my July video recap. Well, my July trade recap. Understand, give yourself those talks that you need. Make sure when it comes to your setups that you are okay with your risk management. You are okay with your size. Because I feel like a lot of times people kind of like, they confuse, even though your risk management plan and your size tie together, but you also understand your setup ties together with all that. So you have different categories when it comes to trading. You have your setups that you only take, then you have your risk management plan, and then you have your size. So for me, when my account was still large, my daily loss limit was $7,000. So I would have to tell myself, I would never necessarily play with the whole 7,000, but depending on the risk management of like how I was sized into a trade, it would depend and fluctuate a little bit. But my daily loss limit never fluctuated. I can say is when it comes to your size, you need to be okay with the number when you are going inside of a trade. So it's like, if I put in $8,000 into the market, I ideally, of course, you probably want to see at least, of course, every trade in your head, you probably want to see $8,000, but you need to also understand how much money you're going to risk of that 8K. So if your number is, I am feeling comfortable with putting $1,000 to the market, just an easy number to go with, you can sit there and tell yourself, okay, I don't want to lose no more than $200 or $250 of that $1,000. If you're okay with that number, be okay with it. If you're not okay with that number, you need to size down. So that needs to also let you know that, okay, if you're not okay with risking $200 of your 1K, maybe you probably need to go down to like $500 or $600, and then you can kind of understand, okay, let me only risk about $100 of that or something. So find a number that works for you. Find the number that works for you. I try to install it to everybody's head, especially when I have one-on-ones and just me talking about risk management. Pick a number, rock out. Pick a strategy, rock out. Get your rules for your risk management plan, follow them, and rock out. I feel like a lot of times we make trading more difficult than it needs to be. Simplify everything. Simple. Make it simple. Yeah, so that's going to really conclude my video. If you're not already, go ahead and like, subscribe to the video and to me. And just to bring up, I am currently going to be, I'm currently accepting applications. There we go. I am accepting applications right now for my mentorship. That is going to be starting in October. It's going to be for 6 weeks. So you'll be stuck with me for 6 weeks if you apply. I will have the information down below in the description box. If you are wanting a community, daily help, daily live trading, monthly classes, all that, you know where to find me. If you don't know, it's Crystal Academy. It's Crystal Academy. I will have the information in the description box below also. And then if you want to book a one-on-one with me, you can book them as well. Now, I'm going to tell you now, while I am in the middle of mentorship, I won't have the time to do one-on-ones during the mentorship time. So highly recommend if you want a one-on-one to go ahead and get, book it up now. And then for mentorship, there we go. Lost it and it came back. For mentorship, you have to apply. It is an application based. It is an application based mentorship. So you sit there and try to bullshit the application. Can I say that on YouTube? If you sit there and try to BS the application, then you will get a BS denial letter. So don't play. If you actually want to learn how to trade and you're actually just wanting more hands-on help and the more structural type of help, the mentorship, I would do my best. I would do my best to make sure that you are set up for success when it comes to this. So yeah, one thing I need to do, I need to stop saying but there's my recap.